Alright, well, I'm Kraig, 22 years old, born and raised in Chilliwack, British Columbia. I'm not good at describing myself, I don't know what else to say. My parents got split up when I was, I think, 4. My mom raised us, my dad was around every now and then, just not a lot. My parents' divorce had a huge impact on my childhood, and I blamed myself for their divorce because I thought it was like they were good when my sister was just here, but when I came along, that's when everything started to fall apart. So that definitely had a huge impact on how I receive and give out love, and just how I've learned to, I don't know, just felt like I wasn't good enough for people, or that they just would put up with me for an X amount of time, and then after a while realize that I wasn't good enough for them, and they would just leave me, which is a pretty bad place to be thinking about. Didn't help me feel loved or actually wanted by anyone. I suffered from depression and anxiety. I mean, I still do, but it was definitely much worse a couple years ago. Yeah, it was 2016, and my ex-girlfriend had just broken up with me. My mom was here. My sister was across the country going to school. My dad was in Chicago. My grandfather had passed away a couple years before, and it all just kind of hit me at once. When my grandfather passed away, he was pretty much my role model because, as I said, my dad wasn't really in the picture. I think that was the first time that I ever realized death's coming for all of us, and that I feel is probably the point where it started to go downhill for me, and just trying to cope with not having him around anymore or anything like that. And I remember sitting in my bed coming to terms with I don't want to be alive. Thankfully, I never went through with it, but there was some times when I'd be driving back from school on the highway, and it'd be late at night, and it was a half an hour drive, and I'm just stuck with my thoughts the whole time, and I would look over the edge of the highway and just think, what if I did just drive off? How much harm could it really cause? No one's really gonna miss me. No one really loves me. I'm not good enough for people. And yeah, those were definitely some dark times. To cope with everything going on with my life, I began using drugs, and I became addicted pretty quick. I would wake up in the morning still feeling it from the night before, dredge myself to work, think only about I can't wait to get home and do the stuff. And I'd get home, do just copious amounts, and then go back to sleep, wake up, it was a constant cycle. I was sitting at my house, and my mom had actually just left for Hawaii, and I was completely alone in the house, and I was like, hey, it's the perfect time to do some drugs. And I sat there with the cold sweats. My eyes were shaky, my vision was blurry. I felt like I was gonna puke, but I didn't have any food in my system. And I just sat there this isn't the life that I wanna live. This is not good. I can't keep doing this to myself. I wasn't raised in a Christian home. I was raised in an agnostic home. My mom has never really, she calls herself more spiritual than religious. And my dad is actually a pretty hardcore atheist, but we never really talked about it growing up or anything. I was just raised in believe what you want to believe, and whatever makes me happy was fine with my parents. My ex-girlfriend, she was really religious and kind of introduced me to more of the in-depth part of it. When we broke up, she told me that it was because God told her to, that we were going down different paths and it just needed to happen. And I didn't really understand that. So in, I think it was January or February, I asked my friend if I could attend their church with them, and I don't know, I was just searching for answers. The first time that I ever actually sat down and prayed, that was me actually accepting the fact that I do believe in a God, and I do believe that he sent his son down to rescue us. And it was an emotional time, man. I remember that sitting down, and I didn't even know what was happening. I just started crying. I was bawling. I was kind of freaking out a little bit. I didn't know if this was normal or not. I just felt a lot of emotions all at once. After I was saved, I just felt happier. I felt like there was actually someone watching over me, guiding me along the path. I just feel there's just so much more love in my heart for people, others that I wronged in the past or anything. And my faith has just taught me to just come to terms with it. I feel I came to the point that I'm at now from opening myself up to my friends, my family, people that I know love me. And it's okay to feel sad and alone. A lot of people do. I feel like it's safe to say almost everyone does have those feelings at one point in their life, and that's what I feel drove me to the point that I'm at now, is support from people, distancing myself away from the people that would want me to get back into my old habits and stuff like that, finding stuff that I love, and just finding joy in life again. Today, I still struggle with anxiety and depression. I'll wake up one morning and just not feel myself, and just kind of feel like I'm dredging through this life. But I always just have to remember, this isn't the end. The way I remind myself that I am still loved by God is, even when I get in those moments where I do have a little bit of self-hatred, I gotta remind myself, God sent his son to save us, and even if I was the only one that needed to be saved, he'd still do it. And that helps me, and it's definitely helped everything in my life by opening myself up to people. You're not alone. There is people here to help you, people that love you, people that want to see you prosper in life. And this isn't the end. There's no way that this can be the end. We have so much work to do, and just that God loves you. That's the biggest thing. No matter what you do, it's unconditional love. He'll always love you.